Hello, my name is Ethan Tomaskovic, and today we're going to dive into the eyes of eagles. So let's start with a story. Eagles are expert hunters thanks to their eyesight, where they can spot a prey such as a rabbit from 2 to even 3 miles away. So back home, there is this eagle that sits on top of a power line pole that's on top of a hill, and it overlooks a lake, and this lake is half a mile to a mile away. And if you watch the eagle for long enough, you'll see it leave its perch and dive down towards the lake, where it'll then catch a fish. And it's insane how this can happen, especially when you have the reflection from the water and just being so far away. So let's figure out how they do it. Let's start with the bird's eye view. Some noticeable differences are that eagles have a much larger cornea and lens than humans. They also boast an irregular shape that isn't circular, making their retina flatter, which expands their field of view. They also have two lenses stacked on top of each other, which is similar to what early telescopes did. And finally, they have eyes on the side of their head. Eagles and many other birds have fewer blood vessels in their vitreous chamber than humans do, thanks to the pectin, and this provides nutrients to the retina, which in turn increases their eyesight. So, with the reduced volume of blood vessels, which cause light scattering and blind spots, this enhances visual acuity and their ability to resolve detail. So, humans have 200,000 cones per square millimeter in their fovea, and eagles have 1 million. And by reflecting images through their cornea and lens onto a much more dense, clearer field of photosensors, their visual acuity and color perception is much greater than ours. And because eagles have so many cones, they need to shield their eyes from direct sunlight, and they boast massive eyebrows to protect against this, which is kind of what gives them that furious, angry look. So, an eagle's eye occupies much of the space in their skull, about 50% compared to the around 5% in humans. And what's really interesting is that eagles have two and debatably three foveas per eye, making it 4 to 6 foveas in the eagle's visual system. The shallow or temporal fovea is dedicated to what we would consider peripheral vision, and this has fewer photoreceptors and acuity than the deep fovea. The shallow fovea also has monocular vision, and the deep fovea is for direct attention and shares binocular vision, which allows for telescopic vision. And then the sort of smeared third fovea connects the two foveae, and the only blind spots that eagles have is around 80 degrees behind them and a few degrees above them due to their large eyebrows, and then an even slimmer few degrees in front of them. So moving on to some more anatomy, eagles are protected under many various acts, so it's hard to find research on the dissection and exploration of their retinal structure, but there have been some other birds of prey that have had this done to them. So this first picture represents the shallow fovea of a broad-winged hawk. And notice that there's a thickened area of photoreceptor and ganglion cell density instead of a depression. This is right where the arrow is pointing to. And in this other image of a short-tailed hawk, you can see a thickening before the depression in the shallow fovea. And then most birds will have this deep fovea seen in the final picture. So what does all of this do? Well, the third smeared foveae helps eagles track moving objects as they switch from one mode of vision to another, and they can scan the horizon without moving their heads. They also fuse images from both foveae to produce a stereoscopic image, which improves their depth perception and ability to lock onto targets. To scan for movement, an eagle will use both sets of vision, while mainly relying on the temporal foveae to bring objects into sharp focus once they catch something. And to see greater color, eagles have S, L, and M cones, but they also have a fourth cone that can detect UV lights. These give eagles a greater sensitivity to different color shades, and it allows them to even see polarized light. This viewing of polarized light is great for hunting fish in water, and it allows them to see urine trails of prey. And all of these adaptations could have evolved from many different things. So, for example, the prevalence of eyes in prey makes hunting from close up harder. So, this long range target acquisition combats the evolution of prey's perceptual systems. And then the evolution of having 4 photoreceptors probably came through natural selection, as birds that could see polarized light had access to a greater selection of food. So, what would it be like if humans had eagle eyes? Well, not only would your field of view increase greatly, but there wouldn't be a drop in acuity with this expanded periphery. You would also see much more vibrant colors, and most importantly, you would be able to notice and decide actions for targets up to 3 miles away. A downside, though, is that your eyes would need to cover 50% of your cortex. Well, eagle eyes are the same size as human eyes, but if we're accounting for just pure biology, it would need to cover 50% of your cortex. So you would either have to shrink everything in your brain, have a bigger brain and look like an alien, or you'd have to remove your prefrontal cortex, and I would guess that the shrinking and removal of the PFC would make you not so intelligent. Thank you for watching, and here are my sources.